Assalamu alaikum and good morning, grade 7 with you, Mr. Samir Awad. We are going today to get part 1 of lesson 2, surface water. And we get before the water on earth, and we knew that they are divided or classified into two parts. One is the salt water and the other one is the fresh water. And today we are going to talk about the surface water, and we will start to work on three axes. And the three axes we are going to work on, first of all, what is river system, number two, what are ponds and lakes, and number three, how can lakes change. But for today we are going to work on two axes only. Number one, what is a river system, and number two, what are ponds and lakes. So let's start from the beginning. What is the river system? So we said, guys, that the river system consists of three parts or three main constituents. Number one is tributaries, which is small streams or branches that feed in the main river. Number two is the watershed, and it's a part of the land or a basin that can collect the water and supply the water for the or to the rivers. Number three is divides, and the divides it's like ridge or big rocks separate two watersheds from each other. So many times you can get more than watershed is supplying the same stream. Yeah, number one, tributaries, and start with the streams and smaller rivers that feed into the main river. They are called tributaries. And also tributaries, guys, flow downward towards the main river, pulled by the force of gravity, so that they are coming from the watershed, which is higher land, into the river mainstream, to give it the water coming from the watershed by the force of gravity. And a river and all the streams and smaller streams that flow into together make up a river system. That's like we can see Arkansas, and you can see here Tulsa, that's Oklahoma thing. So this main lake here, and we are getting the main river stream, and a lot of tributaries are giving and supplying water to the main stream here. After the watersheds, and the watersheds, it's a land area that supplies water to a river system. And it can be, like we said before, drainage or a basin that collect the water coming from the rains. And after that, we can see, for example, the Missouri and Ohio rivers are quite long. So yet they flow into the Mississippi River. When the river join another river system, the area they drain become part of the largest river watershed. And the watersheds of Mississippi River cover nearly 1/3 of the United States. Oh, that's too much. Like we see here, guys, the watershed here, the basin for the water is getting to collect all, and after that, start to give the water to Missouri River here. That's a Missouri watershed. On the other side, you can see Mississippi. Mississippi, it's covering a lot here. It's getting all of the water here from the highland in order to give it to the river itself. So the river here is getting the water from here and from here. So that's Mississippi watershed, and also that's for Ohio. That's Ohio River, guys, as you can see. That line. On the other side, we'll get the watershed is collecting the water from here and here and give it to it. On the other side, Colorado also is the same, Columbia, and we will get all of that, guys, in America. The third part of the river system is called divides. And here, guys, a range of land, separates one watershed from another. And it might be sometimes a rock series or a mountain series can start to divide two watersheds from each other. Like, for example, here, a stream, on each side of the divides flow in different directions. The Great Divide, also called Continental Divide, if you get the Great one, and is the longest divide in North America. That's a big one. And it followed the line of a Rocky Mountain. West of this divide, water flows towards the Pacific Ocean. So we can get, like it's parallel to as a line of Rocky Mountains, guys. And also, most or some water is trapped between Rockies, yeah, and in Sierra Nevada, in the Great Basin, you will get between the Rocky and Appalachian Mountains, you will get water flows towards Mississippi River and the Gulf of Mexico. So it's like a big watershed, yeah, after the divide. So that big divide, that big ridge here is dividing the watershed. So we can get a watershed and separated by another watershed, separated by this drainage divide. Yeah. So we call sometimes the watershed drainage or basin. We forget about that. So that is supplying stream A and that is supplying stream B. So we can get more than watershed giving more of than one river. Also, what are ponds and lakes? Yeah, unlike the rivers, which is moving water bodies, we'll get the ponds and lakes contain still water. It's not moving at all. And in general, ponds and uh, and the lakes, they are differently because the ponds are smaller and shallower. On opposite, you will get the lakes are deeper and greater. Yeah, the sunlight usually, yeah, reaches the bottom of all parts of the pond. Most of lakes have areas where the water is too deep for sunlight in order to penetrate through. So that's not easy for the sunlight to penetrate through. Yeah, let's ask question, where does ponds and lake water come from? So some ponds and lakes are supplied by rainfall, yeah, or melting snow and ice, or sometimes it's runoff coming from mountain or something like that, or a great valley. Others are fed by rivers or groundwater, or sometimes we call it underground water. Yeah, and ponds and lakes form when water collects in hollow. Yeah, it's big space. So the water collect in this part, so it will be turning into either pond or lake accordingly. Is it deeper or is it shallower? Is it great or is it small? And it's low-lying area of the land. It has to be like, not flattened one, it's low-lying one. Yeah. Let's start exploring a bond. In order to know more about the bones, guys, because water in the bones uh, are shallow enough here for sunlight to reach the bottom, the plants grow throughout the bone. And also bacteria and plant-like organisms, they are called algae, we talked about before, live in the bone. And also the plants and algae produce oxygen as they use sunlight to make their food through photosynthesis. And we will get in the bone the fish and other animals in the bone use the oxygen and food provided by the plants and algae. And that's very good for them. That's like they are getting their own food sharing. And also some animals also use these plants for shelter. Yeah, you will get some animals getting a shelter and hide through these plants. Yeah, that's for example, that's a bone, and we'll get plants, and beneath the plants here, we'll get some animals hide inside, and we'll get fish here, and we'll get a lot of plants because as you see, the sunlight can penetrate up to the bottom of the bone here. Yeah, let's explore the lake. And in the lake here, guys, we'll get lakes are larger and deeper than the ponds. So let the sunlight reaches the bottom of the deep lake and fewer plants accordingly in the shallow and also dark depth of such a lake, you will get few of plants because the sunlight is not going to penetrate. So accordingly, the photosynthesis process is not going to go up, and there is no, a lot of plants in this area. And also we'll get some mollusks like slugs or snails, like something like that, and worms. Yeah, move along the lake sandy or rocky bottom, and they eat food particles that draft drawn from the surface. And also young bony fishes, yeah, such as pike and sturgeon, yeah, all of that eat the tiny bottom dwellers, yeah, while the adult fish eat other fish. So one of the big fish is getting to eat the smaller one. that will get, yeah, amazing diagram for the lake, and you will get the reflection of the mountain here on the lake surface. And that means that you will get, it's very deep inside, a little bit of plants on the, the shore thread, and we'll get a little bit of worms and slugs on this sandy or rocky, yeah, land of the lake. Yeah, that's good comparison between the bowls and lakes. It's giving you, you know, what is the common area between them, that the both contain still water. It's not moving water unlike the rivers. Yeah. And bowls here are smaller, shallower, and the sunlight reaches the bottom of it, so a lot of algae will be there. On the other side, lakes are deeper, greater, and darker because it's very deep, so the sunlight is not going to reach at the bottom of it, and it will be colder too because the sunlight also is not going to give heat to it. And also will get larger fish that eat smaller one. Thank you guys for your attention, and wait for part 2 with me with the lake formation and lake eutrophication. Yeah, with you, Mr. Samirawat. Be safe, stay at home, and good luck, guys. Bye bye.